Who does not love the long bridges which we have to drive and catch the glimpse of the setting sun? Well, I can say that bridges have always something special for everyone. Each time you cross a bridge, the view always makes some remarkable memories. But have you ever wondered how it can be if you are crossing through a zigzag bridge at a height of 230 feet? Sounds dangerous, right? Well, this time let's take you through some of the most dangerous bridges around the world. These bridges stand tall up high, offering best views yet dangerous, while some other might be the longest one which feels as it will never end. Well, let's know a bit more about these bridges. Deception Pass Bridge, Washington. The Deception Pass Bridge began as a dream, became a convenience, and developed into an icon. Curving gracefully between Fidalgo and Whidbey Islands, it crowns the most visited state park in Washington. Listed on the National Register of Historic Places in 1982, this bridge is recognized for its engineering and the elegant architecture that complements the scenic and geologic wonder of Deception Pass. Its history brings together the place, the people, and the popular park that draws visitors from around the world. Gaza, Nepal. The hanging bridge of Gaza, situated in Nepal, belongs to those facilities, the mere appearance of which is breathtaking. It is close to the village of the same name and is actively used for ferrying not only people, but also cattle. Cattle have remained the principal mean of livelihood for locals for many years. A huge amount of pets resulted in the construction of the bridge. Before that, herds of animals were constantly accumulated in and around the village, occupying the narrow mountain road almost completely. Today, hundreds of shepherds and animals move freely across the bridge and get access to picturesque pastures. The narrow bridge is laid at a great height. Moreover, it is quite narrow and extremely unstable to wind gusts occurring regularly in this area. Passing through the bridge has become a familiar event for locals, but not all the travelers would be courageous enough. Despite the fact that the bridge looks quite fragile and badly shaken, it is very reliable and, the most importantly, it is equipped with high railings. Some shepherds put blinders on animals to make later behave quietly on the bridge. Thanks to flaps, animals overcome obstacles calmly and aren't distracted by opening views of the Himalayas. Royal Gorge Bridge, USA. No other bridge in history has been more associated with being the world's highest than the Royal Gorge Bridge, located in the U.S. state of Colorado. Constructed in 1929, the bridge was the highest suspension bridge in the world for nearly 75 years, with a roadway 955 feet above the Arkansas River. In 2001, China opened an even higher gorge crossing in the form of the Liuguanghe Bridge, a concrete beam span with a deck 975 feet high. Then in 2003, China opened the 1,200-foot-high Bipanjiang River Bridge 2003, the first of what will eventually be at least a dozen Chinese suspension bridges of greater height. While the Royal Gorge Bridge no longer holds any world records, this Rocky Mountain wonder of wire and wood is still the highest bridge in the United States and one of the most popular destinations in the state of Colorado, with more than 500,000 visitors a year. Since its construction, the Royal Gorge has become much more than a bridge but an entire park that includes more than a dozen attractions that can keep you busy for an entire day. And did you know that the canyon is so deep that it's the only place where you can hide the Empire State Building standing straight up, with an extra 3 feet on the top for a flagpole? While the Royal Gorge Bridge no longer holds any world records, this Rocky Mountain wonder of wire and wood is still the highest bridge in the United States and one of the most popular destinations in the state of Colorado, with more than 500,000 visitors a year. Since its construction, the Royal Gorge has become much more than a bridge but an entire park that includes more than a dozen attractions that can keep you busy for an entire day. And did you know that the canyon is so deep that it's the only place where you can hide the Empire State Building standing straight up, with an extra 3 feet on the top for a flagpole? Aiguille du Midi, France. The Aiguille du Midi is a 3842 peak in the Mont Blanc Massif of the French Alps. This is the closest you can get to the summit of Mont Blanc without hiking or climbing. The Aiguille du Midi is the highest mountain peak served by an aerial lift system. The name translates literally to "needle of the midday." The mountain lies to the southeast of Chamonix, and when viewed from in front of the church it indicates that it is noon when the sun passes over its summit. There is a small short bridge that connects two mountains at the top that might not seem scary at first glance, but take a larger exterior examination and you truly might just have a panic attack seeing how high up this structure really is. Langkawi Sky Bridge. Kedah, Malaysia. Curving wide around a forested mountain peak, The Langkawi Sky Bridge in Malaysia is an impressive feat of engineering, or so it would seem since the bridge has been closed for years with not much chance of reopening. Constructed in 2005, the steel sky bridge is a pedestrian thoroughfare that allowed visitors to take a scenic stroll high above the lush forests of the Gunung Mat Cincang mountain. After a tram ride to the foot of the bridge, the walkway winds almost leisurely around the very tips of a trio of mountains. The path is suspended over 2,000 feet above sea level by a single massive pylon that trails thick steel cables down to the bridge. The pieces of the over 400-foot bridge were lifted onto the mountain via helicopter and constructed at elevation. It looks both futuristic and almost frighteningly precarious. And as it turns out, these fears might be justified. After being open for a scant few years, it closed in 2012 for renovations and repairs. It partially reopened in February 2015 and is now fully accessible. Hikers can head to the nearby Seven Wells waterfall and hike to the summit of Gunung Mat Cincang. It's tough, but easy to follow trek, that will take you between 1 to 3 hours one way, depending on your fitness level. The views are totally worth the struggle. Marenbruck, Germany. Situated between two hills, passes 90 meter over the Palat River and offers unparalleled views of the famous Neuschwanstein Castle in Hohenschwangau, Bavaria. You might have to battle the crowd to get your ideal shot of the castle, but the postcard perfect views are worth it. Capilano Suspension Bridge, Canada. The Capilano Suspension Bridge is a simple suspension bridge crossing the Capilano River in the district of North Vancouver, British Columbia, Canada. The bridge was originally built in 1889 by George Grant Mackay, a Scottish civil engineer and park commissioner for Vancouver. It was originally made of hemp ropes with a deck of cedar planks, and was replaced with a wire cable bridge in 1903. In 1910 Edward Mahone purchased the Capilano Suspension Bridge. Mac Macechran purchased the bridge from Mahone in 1935 and invited local natives to place their totem poles in the park, adding a native theme. In 1945, he sold the bridge to Henry Obineau. The bridge was completely rebuilt in 1956. The park was sold to Nancy Stabard, the current owner, in 1983. Annual attendance increased, and in May 2004, Treetops Adventures was opened, consisting of 7-foot bridges suspended between old-growth Douglas fir trees on the west side of the canyon, forming a walkway up to 30 meters above the forest floor. Vidym River Bridge, Russia. Located in Siberia, the Vidym River Bridge is one of the most spectacular bridges in the world. It's an old train bridge crossing the Vidym River which leaves drivers precariously navigating a tiny 6-foot wide path. Its old metal structure is covered with rotting wooden planks, which can be slippery due to frequent ice in the area. The Vidym River is a major tributary of the Lena River. This terrifying bridge is a mere 6 feet wide and teeters precariously over the river. It's a really old structure without railings, truly narrow even for a standard car. To cross the bridge, in the Transbaikal region drivers must navigate a tiny 6-foot wide path, with no railing or safety features to save them from toppling into the frozen water below. To make matters worse, the old metal structure is covered with wooden planks, which can be slippery due to the frequent snow and ice. It was built for use by trains, which explains the lack of any safety barriers. Carrick Arid Rope Bridge, UK. Sway with the wind as you cross and take in the stunning views along the Causeway coastal route, best known as an outstanding area of natural beauty in Northern Ireland. Carrick Arid, one of Northern Ireland's most loved attractions in Northern Ireland, cared for by the National Trust, a registered conservation charity founded to protect beautiful and special places forever, for everyone. The rope bridge has woven its way between Carrick Island and the County Antrim mainland across the Atlantic Ocean. Carrick Arid Island is the final destination and home to a fisherman's cottage steeped in history and heritage. Suspended almost 100 feet above sea level, the rope bridge was first erected by salmon fishermen nearly 300 years ago. Brave the exhilarating experience by crossing the Carrick Arid rope bridge high above the water and open to the elements. Feel the creak of wooden slats in the rushing wind. Hear the waves swirling in beneath your feet. And breathe in the salty spray rising from below. Thousands of people come every year to blow out the cobwebs, see beautiful coastal scenery, and spot rare wildlife. Trift Bridge, Switzerland. Stretching over an arm of Lake Triftsee, hidden among the high Swiss Alps, the Trift Bridge is a thin modern suspension bridge that looks like it could blow over with one stray wind, but is in fact quite safe. Originally built in 2004, the bridge was replaced in 2009. The first bridge was constructed to allow workers from the Trift hydroelectric plant to access a power plant that was built below the glacier to collect and use the runoff. A few short years after the original bridge was built, the second, sturdier model was hung across the wide ravine and the site was opened to the public. Currently the bridge spans a vertigo-inducing almost 560-foot gap in the mountains, suspended over 300 feet from the valley floor. Unlike some of its more primitive inspirations, the Trift Bridge is made of thick steel cables over which wooden planks have been bolted. Despite the modern construction, it still looks like a death trap. While the bridge itself is an impressive sight to visit, the journey to span is harrowing in and of itself, requiring a cable car trip, which also carries visitors high above the ground. Thank you for watching. If you like this video, please click the subscribe button and hit the bell icon for future updates.